on this Mother's Day broadcast of the 35th season of your Philippine Basketball Association. Solar TV takes us all into the Araneta Coliseum, where Major Payne and the rest of the Kings go to battle against the Sampayan Brigade of the BMEG Derby Ace LLMADOS. Good evening, everybody. From inside the Araneta Coliseum, Magoo Marjan here on the floor of the Big Dome. And what a thrilling first game we just all witnessed. And because of that, it was Rainer Shrine climbing up the standings, that is, into 6th place as we take a look at our team standings. And today, this ball game for your second game on this PBA Sunday, it'll be the battle for solo third. It'll be BMEG going up against Barangay Ginebra, like we mentioned, looking for win number 5 in the battle for position as the first round of the eliminations of the Fiesta Cup is winding down. So do hang on to your seats. This ball game promises to be even better than the first game. It is the battle for solo third. BMEG Derby Ace takes on the Barangay Ginebra Chin Kings.
Two teams on the floor carry a tradition, a battle that was forged actually in the 90s and has carried on to today. The names may change. They've undergone several name changes. Teams can do that, of course, but the tradition lives on, just like the tradition of Mother's Day. To our wives, happy Mother's Day. They have tolerated at least me for the last 25 years, Dr. Dick. Nice to see you. Okay.
Same as me.
Okay.
People may not know we got married on the same day and the same year.
Yeah, but we didn't know each other at that time, and we just celebrated every year thereafter. Dr. J, this rivalry is one of the best ever here in the PBA, of course.
Yes, definitely. You know, when Pure Foods came in, Ginebra was one of the more popular clubs. Right now, perhaps, if we were to look at the way that, if we had a meter for this, Ginebra, the Ginebra Kings and Derby Ace, they would be the two most popular teams in the country right now, and that's the reason why we still have a good crowd here, despite the fact that it's Mother's Day, and that's going to be Election Day tomorrow.
Yes,
indeed. So let's hope that we do get a good game, just like what we saw earlier between Rainer Shine and the Air 21 team. No?
Yep, the Express losing that one, and the score was 106-102. Take a look first at the numbers that match up these two sides, and they're interesting in terms of the fact that they're quite close to each other.
Yeah, you can see that Ginebra averages about 58.5 rebounds. Derby Ace about 53 rebounds per ball game. But they also limit the opponent's rebounds, so they are rebounding better than their opponents by almost plus 10. And that's the rebounding difference for both. Steals department in favor of Derby Ace. I think they're a little bit more concentrated on their type of defense. They play hard-nosed defense in your face, and whatever opportunities they can try to get the ball from you, they will do so. Shot blocks in favor of Derby Ace simply because of the presence of Rafi Ribis and Mark Pingris.
Absolutely. It will definitely boil down to the main personnel, the stars of this show, the marquee players. Like, for instance, for Barangay Ginebra, I never thought I would be saying this. You know, he's forever young. Eric Meng turning back the hands of time, doing a marvelous performance against Air 21 in the last time around.
Well, right now there are a lot of big men in the lineup of Ginebra, and obviously that is a challenge for Eric Meng, even though he's a little bit older than most of them, to step up. In the background, they'll have to wait Yancy De Ocampo, Rico Villanueva, and Billy Mamaril. Good numbers for Eric Meng in their game against Air 21, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a shot block.
Okay, and later on, before the game, before the ball is tossed into the air, we will be honoring James Yap for becoming the latest 5,000-point man. We were unable to make the presentation towards the end of that game. I think Willie Marshall, our media bureau chief, said it's a little crucial. They didn't want to stop the course of the game?
I think it's very sound logic in not stopping the ball game at that time. Conference averages are 16 points. It could really be much more for James. If he's been making his free throws, he's been really struggling from that area. Plus his field goal percentage is only 1 out of every 3, 34%. Rebounds 4, assists 2.4, that's okay. But he really must improve on his field goal percentage as well as his free throw. James is probably a 22-point man average every game with the minutes that he plays and the number of plays that are given to him.
Okay, Dr. J, it's always important to listen to your assessment of the imports. You followed them through the years, recruited some of them, played for your teams, in fact, through the years. Let's take a look at the replacements. Both teams have made replacements in the course of the tournament.
Well, they're relatively new, but both of them are wing players. Ambrose is a wing player, while Brown is more like a power forward, but really an undersized power forward. Great hustler, however. Averages only 16.5 points, but 16.5 rebounds. On the other hand, Ambrose is more of a scorer, but a perimeter player. 24.5 points, but very low field goal percentage. You cannot live with that. I think you have to get that up to about 40, 41. You want to stay with this team. 18 rebounds is something that you would be proud of, but most of the other imports are also averaging that. So that is probably a norm right now for most of the imports, especially when you're playing 40, 41 minutes.
Okay, we'll bring along our teammates for this day. It's interesting that the women are not around again on this Mother's Day.
Maybe they're celebrating.
Isa lang ang mother ang alam ko sa grupo natin. Well, let's go first to Dominic, and I think I'll go to Magu in a short while. Dom?
Thank you, Sev, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, especially to my mother. But the BMEC Derby LLMADOS are going for solo third in today's ball game, and how they're going to do that is still through their defense. They know, Coach Ryan knows that this is their biggest asset. But also, against the Gin Kings today, they know that they need to stop, because they need to stop Eric Mek and Willie Miller. Even if they're playing without Mark Kagiwa, these are the guys that score a lot for them. But itong si Eric Mek has been playing vintage Major Pain, like you mentioned earlier. But also Willie Miller, he said, you know, he hasn't been able to get into the Gin Kings basketball yet. But he has so much respect for this player because he's won a championship in every team that he's played in. Magu, ano naman ang balita dyan sa Barangay Ginebra Gin Kings?
You know what, Dom? With Mark Kagiwa suspended for this game, like what you mentioned, it may just be Willie Miller's time to shine. Averaging just 7 points per game as a Gin King in his first 2 games. The Thriller tells us that he's still trying to figure out how or when to shoot, or when his opportunities to shoot are within the system of Ginebra. Coach Jong tells us that it's just a matter of time till Willie figures it out after spending almost 6 seasons in Alaska's Triangle. Coach Jong also added that they, as a whole, are trying to figure out their identity on offense and defense, and would just like to get their flow going. Let's send it over to Sir Sev and the doctor.
Let's listen into this announcement and presentation.
PBA Commissioner Sonny Barrios. Nais po naming ialay ang aming pasasalamat sa isang ina na nagbigay ng kanyang oras at panahon sa inyong PBA mula pa sa una nitong pagkakatatag. At bilang aming pasasalamat sa inyong walang sawang pagsuporta sa nag-iisang astiging liga mula noon hanggang ngayon, aming ibinibigay ang munti naming handog sa inyo, ang aming espesyal na ilaw ng tahanan. Ngayong gabi, palakpakan po natin si Mrs. Belen Yuzon Fran. And the Philippine Basketball Association would like to acknowledge Mrs. Belen Yuzon Fran, PBA Mother Fan of the 35th anniversary celebration of the PBA, given this 9th day of May 2010, Mother's Day at the Araneta Coliseum, Quezon City. Muli po maraming salamat po sa inyo, and happy Mother's Day sa inyo.
Auntie ko yan.
Auntie mo?
She knows me, my wife, very well. Well,
Talaga?
ang auntie ko in that sense, she's a mother Patrick fan who's with the Talk and Text group as he has Patrick played as a player and as an assistant
And I'll
coach.
tell you a story. I know that family. We live in the same area. We'll talk about it in a short while. Let's listen in.
In the fourth quarter of BMAC Derby Aces